Money don't matter if it feels for you. Money don't matter if you're hard home. Money don't matter if it feels for you. I used to worry every day. Now I got better things.
Welcome to Geek BH Reviews. This is the DovahGeek, Brent Hauserman here, to bring you The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, Part 2, From Whiterun to Windhelm. This is my review on the lands of Skyrim, and it's going to basically kick off my true actual review for this, since the last video was just an introduction and all. This won't be very long, per se, though, because it's just going to be talking about the specific holds, their lands and all, and what the land is like. So let's start with Whiterun. Whiterun is not where you start the game, actually. You start in Helgen, which is in Falkreathhold. But Whiterun is really where things kick off, because your first real thing is getting to Riverwood, which is right at the bottom of Whiterun Hold. Whiterun's capital is known as Whiterun City. It's not really that original. But, I mean, it works. Whiterun is very plain. It's very plain. It has trees spread about, some mountains. But there's not really a lot of specialty to it. I mean, it's not going to be like you go there and it's like, oh my god, it's so awesome looking. No. Whiterun's just not like that. It's more of a way to bring you into the game without giving you an overwhelming look of beauty. I mean, it looks great, it does, but it's not overwhelming, so it doesn't make you see the best of it right away. So going south, you reach Falkreathhold, which is where you actually start in the city of Helgen. Falkreath is completely different. Falkreath is forested, pine forests as far as the eye can see. And it's beautiful because of it. It's very, very rustic, very old style. There's not a lot of, like, high age to it. I don't want to say, like, high tech, because there's really very little tech, except for Dwemer Ruins. But you get the point. It's very old-fashioned, very, not that modern. It's very quiet. There's a lot of wildlife. There's, like I said, a lot of forestation. It's a good place. Next, you go to the Rift, which is at the bottom right corner of the map. The Rift is very fall forest type. It's very, I mean, it makes you think of the fall, a forest in the fall. But it's not like heavily forested like Falkreath was. Riften's oh, by the way, I forgot, Falkreath's capital is Falkreath. Again, unoriginal. The Rift's capital is Riften. Moving on to this hold. Riften seems like an almost industrious city. I mean, not on the level of a couple of the others, but it's very, actually, industrious. And it has a very good market, has a lot of people bustling through all the time during the day, have a very good forge there, some great places, even has an orphanage. And then there's the Ratway, which is sort of like where the bums are and all. It seems like a real city. Whiterun, I mean, seemed great. It seemed like a good medieval city. Even had a good marketplace. But that was really the highlight of it. Otherwise, it was like trying to focus too much on too many things. Because Whiterun, I mean, it has the companions of Jorrvaskr. It has Dragon's Reach. It has just so much going on there. But Riften, I mean, while it does have a lot, it has the Temple of Mara, it has the Jarl's Castle, which I can't remember the name of right now. While Riften has a lot going on, it balances it better. In my opinion, at least. And it just looks better, the city in general. Moving up from the Rift, though, there's Eastmarch. Eastmarch borders Morrowind, and it has an actual double climate type. The bottom is very tundra-like, very dry, very rugged land, but the top tip of Eastmarch is very cold, very iceless snow, and that's where the capital, Windhelm, is. Windhelm is sometimes pronounced by some people as Windhelm, as if it's like German, because in German, that spelling would be Windhelm. I have pronounced it both ways, so it doesn't matter to me either way. But that area is very cold, very snow and ice, and it works. Because when you go to Windhelm, that's what you expect to see. And it just makes sense for some reason, even though most of the hold isn't like that. And, I mean, the snow and everything makes it a pretty good-looking place to see. Winterhold is where that really shines, though, because Winterhold is where the snow and ice is the most prominent. I mean, obviously you'd guess that, being the capital is called Winterhold, and the hold is Winterhold. Obviously, it's going to be winter-like. I'm not going to go into a lot about Winterhold's history and how the city used to be a lot bigger, or anything like that, because that's really not relevant. The hold itself is very cold, very frozen over, a lot of snow everywhere. And, I mean, it looks good for that kind of hold. And it works. So moving on is the Pale. Pale has Dawnstar. This sort of has like a double climate as well, like Eastmarch did. But it's a little different because most of the Pale is the snow and ice, is the frozen tundra. But the bottom little bit that borders Whiterun and part of Eastmarch is a lot warmer, is a lot more like Eastmarch's tundra or even Whiterun's basic land type. There's not a lot to it, or it's just plain. You get the idea. But the rest of the Pale is all snow and ice, and it's good. It's not as in-depth with the snow and ice as Winterhold was, but it's there. And it works. Next is Hjalmarch, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Hjalmarch is where Mortal is. Mortal is an interesting place, and Hjalmarch as a whole. It's not really frozen over for the most part. It's very cold, though, except in the bottom half where it's more like Whiterun. And it's like a basic snow and ice type land. There's not a great lot to the look of it. It's very plain and honestly a little unimpressive. The Reach is on the complete left side of the map, and that's where Markarth is. The Reach is very mountainous and craggy, a lot of canyon-like, and you get the idea. That's what the Reach is. And it's very good looking with that. And this is the kind of land you would expect to see the orcs live in. And you see orcs in Markarth. They're actually more prominent there, it seems, than anywhere else. At least from what I've noticed. Above the Reach, at the very top left corner of the map, is Hofingr. Hofingr is the final hold of Skyrim, and it's where Solitude is. This is basically the Empire's capital of Skyrim, where they're having their base and everything, which is the capital city of Solitude. Hofingr is not really completely frozen over like Winterhold is, but it's cold and has snow in it, yes. But it's not as bad. Because, I mean, go down to the docks by Solitude, where the East Empire Company is, and it looks like any docks would, or that kind of thing would look like. And it's not like a frozen over wasteland. But if you go into the waters of the Sea of Ghosts, right around that area, it's very frozen over, very cold. There's icebergs and stuff. So I guess it just depends on the part you're at and what the overall appearance of it looks like, comparing with like the buildings and the scenery and everything around it. Hofingr can be very tricky like that almost. But those are the basics of each of the holds. Like I said, I'm not going to go into political climate or anything like that with this video. This one is a short video to specifically talk about the lands and what there is in them. Now, I'm not going to go into full detail, even though I probably could, because this video is already almost 10 minutes long and I do have a limit on them. I will continue with my videos, and part 3 will be just as good as this one. At least, I hope it will even be better. So, until then, this is the DovahGeek signing off. See you next time.